Всем привет, с вами Ято, и мы продолжаем проходить игру Vampyr. Сегодня мы, пожалуй, займемся делами больницы. И в первую очередь, конечно, обойдем тех, кого не обошли в прошлый раз. Уж очень их тут много.
Yes, Nurse Crane? How can I help you?
I'm so sorry. I know Dr. Swansea wanted you to rest, but we have somewhat of a crisis.
A crisis, you say?
Our supply of antiseptics is nearly depleted. I was hoping there was another box up here, but...
Чтобы ответить.
What type of hospital are you running? No antiseptics?
You have been away too long, Doctor. With the war and now this epidemic, supplies
Дела
have been running
нормально.
scarce for months now.
Только, блин, я тут слегка
I may have
таю.
a solution. In France during the war, drug
Внезапно
shortage
погода
was a daily
пришла.
problem.
Дышать
We had to use
нечем.
our wits to overcome the shortages.
However do you mean?
If combined correctly, certain household chemical products can be used in a pinch instead. Now, where's the hospital storeroom?
The storeroom? Fat chance. This is the Pembroke, and space is luxury we don't have. Everything used to be stored in the old morgue.
Perhaps I should look there first. Where is this morgue?
It's the large building behind the hospital. You'll need to go in the back door because it's been sealed off for sanitary reasons.
Что
Take this
какая?
key. It opens a small back entrance at the end of a narrow street.
The abandoned morgue behind the hospital. A small door at the end of a narrow street. On my way then. Thank you, nurse.
Ну жара. Температура где-то градусов 30. В доме сидеть вообще невозможно. Это которая новая будет выходить? А когда она выходит вообще? Я как-то посмотрел, но не мое. Как-то на тройке еще играл в одну часть. Тепло так сейчас в Омске. Вчера буквально пришло. До этого вообще градусов 10 было. Максимум. Так, куда я тут бежал-то?
It's locked, all right.
Что-то мне подсказывает, что этого сундука я до этого вообще не видел. Я тут с момента выхода побегал, блин. С одной стороны игра зашибись, с другой, блин, столько всяких разочарований нашел.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I believe we're going to be colleagues.
Reed? Yes, I've been informed about your arrival. I'm Waverly Ackroyd. Welcome aboard, I suppose.
Does my arrival inconvenience you in some way, Dr. Ackroyd?
Let us just say that I don't particularly share Dr. Swansea's enthusiasm for hiring you. What we need here are reliable professionals, not overrated dabblers.
If you have a problem with me, Dr. Ackroyd, please feel free to tell me.
Dr. Swansea has imposed your presence on this hospital without asking anyone's advice. The benefit of his position. but I don't agree with it.
I know we've never met before, but I believe this hospital could use all the help it can get. You will agree with that, I'm sure.
Oh, but I have heard about you, Dr. Reed. Of course, you can't say the same about me, since I have not wasted my time courting the press.
There is no need for such animosity between us. Don't you think the epidemic is already enough to deal with?
That is one point we
То
can
есть
agree on.
ты тут
And that is
болтовни
precisely
всякой.
why I want to be sure that you will be of help to this hospital, instead of a burden.
Since your tenure in this hospital is longer than mine, perhaps you can tell me more about this place.
Let's just say I'm tired of the carelessness around me. I have always respected the skills of Dr. Swansea, but over time his enthusiasm has become displaced.
Carelessness? Exactly what are you talking about?
We're here to save lives. The people who trust us are not volunteering for experimentation. They're here to be healed.
I don't intend to run any radical experiments, Doctor. Even if I, as any good practitioner should, express an interest in pushing the boundaries of medical research.
Modern medical methods were created through audacity
Ну я в
and
такие
ego.
игры в принципе
But
не
there
играю,
are
как
rules in
Лара
our line of
Крофт.
work, and they're here to protect our patients.
Как-то она меня не особо цепляет.
I don't know what you've heard about me, but I have already proved my value as a practitioner.
I don't question your skills,
Тебе,
Dr.
конечно,
Reed, but your
интересно, что они
motive.
на этот раз сделают.
Is it money, fame, or are you truly dedicated?
And what exactly is that supposed to mean?
I served in the war just like you. But unlike you, I did not use the wounded to play the modern sorcerer.
Be careful what you insinuate, Dr. Ackroyd.
I only want you to admit you used those men to improve your theories.
This is ridiculous. My blood transfusion technique saved many lives, and you know it.
You see? That is exactly what I hate about people like you. You avoid this kind of accusation instead of facing reality.
It seems you have bad memories of your military service.
I refuse to see this industrial slaughter as scientific progress. War only reveals the worst in men.
We can at least agree on something, Dr. Ackroyd.
Это ты-то как спецназовец. В это я поверить не готов. Так, тут мы все
Thank you
переболтали.
for your time. We'll talk later. Good evening, Doctor. I believe we're going to be working together.
Dr. Reed. Dr. Swansea informed us of your arrival, but I could not dare to believe we'd have such good fortune. Such an honor, sir.
Thank you. And you are?
I am Thoreau Strickland, Dr. Thoreau Strickland. I'm a great admirer of your work, Dr. Reed.
Please, could you tell me something about yourself?
I'm a great admirer of your work concerning blood transfusion, Dr. Reed. I run my own experiments. I'm convinced it's the future.
What made you choose to be a doctor?
I'm not ashamed to admit you and your work have inspired me. I am honored to have the opportunity to work by your side.
It's always a pleasure to share scientific and medical knowledge with someone eager to learn. I'll be glad to help you if I can.
This epidemic may be the century's most terrible disaster, but I'm convinced that we, as doctors, are the only ones able to defeat it.
В Division я тебя видел один раз. Это было такое себе зрелище. Ты тогда с каким-то парнем играла.
I based my technique on my mentor's research. He helped me perfect my method. What is yours?
I'd rather not talk about it. For now, it's just theories and first approach.
Я, кстати, тебя вчера среди ночи видел в Division.
And unsuccessful.
As long as you're cautious and methodical, you may remain empty-handed.
Спать уже, главное, собираюсь. Смотрю, кто-то из друзей маячит. Захожу, смотрю.
What can you tell me about the Pembroke?
Well, it has always been an honor to work with Dr. Swansea. But with your arrival, I can't think of a better opportunity to learn about blood transfusion.
Занудное весьма занятие.
You seem quite optimistic. It's a rare and precious attitude in these difficult times.
I'm convinced that this epidemic is a test.
Никогда удовольствия не вызывало бегать вот это вот, выбивать что-то, кого-то убивать зачем-то.
True, true. Last summer, during the first wave of the epidemic, I used to joke with Milton about the extra work.
Есть такая, блин, идиотская постановка диалога. Тру-тру. Не могли получше слово, блин, подобрать.
Do you need help with anything in particular?
Well, yes, maybe. I'm waiting for a batch of products I ordered for my
Ты когда,
personal
кстати, что
research.
стримить собираешься?
Yet my supplier seems to have vanished.
4 дня уже где-то не было.
Oh no, Dr. Reed. But if you
Я уже начинаю забывать, как гибнут люди под колесами.
reputation and all, he wouldn't dare to refuse the products I need.
I see. Well, give me the address, for I may pass by if I have time. What do you think of Dr. Ackroyd's aversion to modern medical methods?
It's a shame he's so narrow-minded. Dr. Swansea taught me that science is about exploring uncharted territory.
А которая часть?
I'm convinced that's true.
Я как-то однажды, блин, поиграл в него, когда его это по плюсу раздавали, блин. Из-за управления в нем так разочаровался.
Dr. Ackroyd is as proud as he is blinded by his obsolete concept of medical science.
Идеально. Ну, глядя на ближний бой с гранатометом.
Tell me more about your willingness to experiment with new medical techniques.
Harvey Fiddick is a patient suffering from a severe injury that could cripple him if not treated correctly. I'm convinced your blood
Кстати, а
transfusion
8-го или когда там скидки-то должны были на все быть? Новые какие-то.
Fair question.
Да я что-то прочел в почте и забыл уже.
Dr. Reed, especially since I know Mr. Fiddick's story.
Tell me Mr. Fiddick's story.
Our first diagnosis was compromised because Mr. Fiddick lied to us about the real origin of his injury. He first claimed it was an accident.
But why would he hide such crucial information from us?
Because he is a proud father, ashamed of putting his children at risk because of his own negligence.
This personal involvement could also appear to be a lack of impartiality. You must know that a good surgeon must remain neutral.
I agree. But that does not excuse Dr.
Я прокомментировал такое веселье, но на всякий случай не буду. Мало ли как к этому отнесутся. Нет, интересно, что они на 8-го выложат. Надеюсь, хоть что-то интересное будет. Только в последнее время, с одной стороны, блин, интерес, с другой нафиг не надо.
Goodbye, Dr. Strickland.
Так, с кем мы тут еще не болтали?
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. May I help you?
I don't know if a third opinion is needed. Your colleagues are already arguing about my condition.
I see.
Would you mind telling me more about your situation?
I'm Harvey Fiddick. All I want is to get me bloody arm fixed properly.
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Fiddick.
I'm just a regular guy waiting to get his arm fixed, so I can return to work and to my family.
I was more curious about what you were doing before being hospitalized.
I'm a carpenter, and a good one too. But that means I need both arms to feed my family, Dr. Reed.
Are you satisfied with your treatment here?
Well, it's clear that I've chosen a bad time to be injured. Forgive my bluntness, but you seem overwhelmed by cases of the flu.
I won't lie to you about it. I'm afraid we are.
Are you sure you don't want to operate yourself, Dr. Reed? I have the feeling you're very capable, and your colleagues seem to think so too.
In other circumstances, you would be right. But for now, I don't think I can take on the responsibility. My apologies. Tell me about the doctors who are arguing about your case.
Strickland and Aykroyd.
Оля, ты уже где-нибудь этого вампира смотрела? Или так первый раз зашла?
What do you mean?
I often had professional arguments with rivals on a building site. Difference is I disagreed about wooden nails, not flesh and bones.
Tell me about your injury, Harvey. Why do you feel so guilty about it?
My wife died because of me. And now I may lose everything because I've been careless enough to hurt myself. What an arsehole.
How could your job be responsible for your wife's death?
I was working a double. She went out to bring me a hot meal and got caught in a German bomb raid.
Не хочешь портить впечатление.
Yourself responsible for your injury, Mr. Fiddick, unless you tried to hurt yourself.
Of course I didn't hurt
Ну, за это
myself.
спасибо.
But I can't work until my arm is fixed. My children need to eat, Doctor.
Tell me more about the death of your wife, Harvey.
Лучше уж знать, на что ты идешь.
I was in the army, building workshops for the Royal Flying Corps. Helen was happy.
В некоторых моментах кажется, что вроде все хорошо, потом бах, и все, приплыли.
My wife was bringing my dinner when the bombs fell.
How are your children after losing their mother?
They were smaller then. The only good thing about this is my Helen didn't bring them with her that night.
I'm sorry for your loss. So many died during the bombings. I served in France and witnessed the carnage there.
I would like to say that she didn't suffer. Truth is, I have no idea.
Сейчас с этой игрой, блин, такой ажиотаж, что вообще хрен кого увидишь. Вот когда этот, как он, Ассасина снимал, там более-менее так народ захаживал. А тут круглые сутки. Все показывают. Когда я успел обнести эти шкафы?
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Reed. Can I help at all?
No.
Really? Why are you here then?
I don't want to talk. My throat hurts too much.
I suppose that this pain is the reason you're here.
Я вот надеюсь, что они со временем эти, как его, субтитры поправят. Ну, то есть сейчас они в таком, блин, ужасном состоянии. Если в начале еще игры более-менее, то потом начинается. То букв не хватает, то непонятное слово.
How painful is your throat, Mr. Goswick?
So painful I'd rather not talk at all, Doctor.
I'm sure you
Я
realize
так
a doctor
посмотрел в
and his
этом,
patient have to communicate, sir.
собственно, где... А,
Would it help if
в
I gave you
Стиме.
some paper and a
Оценивают
pen?
ее на
Not
8
really. I
все.
see. Then
Я бы
maybe
им так
it's not
побегал.
just your throat that hurts,
7.
Mr. Goswick. Perhaps your sore throat is just the consequence of something more hurtful.
Yes, maybe.
Система, конечно, прикольная,
But I
но
don't want to talk or even write
вот
about it
тема
now.
с субтитрами и
How
в боевых
painful is
действиях
your
иногда
throat,
такое,
Mr.
блин,
Goswick?
бывает.
So painful, I'd rather not talk at all.
Смотреть страшно.
How painful
Так,
is
стоп,
your
я же
throat,
тоже
Mr.
спрашивал.
Goswick?
So painful, I'd rather not talk at all, Doctor.
I'll let you get some rest then.
I'm all right. Don't waste your time with me.
Good evening, madam. Can I help you?
It's my son who needs you, sir.
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. How can I help your son?
I'm Beatrice Goswick, mother of Mortimer Goswick. Could you check on him, please, Dr. Reed? I've heard much of your talents as a physician.
What can you tell me about yourself, Mrs. Goswick?
Not much to say. Just take care of my Mortimer and I'll cover all the expenses. That's all that matters.
May I ask if you have an occupation, Mrs. Goswick?
I'm a teacher by profession. I teach young women who are more ambitious about their futures than their families.
Are you really that rich? Most of the patients here are of a more humble origin, if I may say so.
Yes, thanks to my husband. May he rest in peace. I can cover any needed medical expenses.
What do you think of your reception here? Any complaints?
I have had the uttermost reservations about this hospital since we arrived. But we had no other choice, considering the state of emergency.
Is there something in particular that's bothering you?
Some of the staff were not especially welcoming. I suspect they're not accustomed to dealing with patients of such social standing.
Tell me more about your arrival at the Pembroke Hospital. What gave you such a bad first impression?
The ambulance driver was quite rude, for a start. And that nurse, Miss Hawkins, seems to have quite a dubious attitude.
What do you mean?
She managed to secure a bed for my son despite the epidemic. It was a relief, but it wasn't cheap.
I share your concern, Mrs. Goswick. Be sure that I'll talk to the people involved.
I don't expect compensation, Dr. Reed. But I'm aware such behavior would not be tolerated in other hospitals.
She charged you for a bed?
Yes, and I paid without question, considering the urgency of the situation.
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick.
Good evening, sir. Doctor.
Так, кого мы еще не видим?
I'm sorry you ended up cold.
You don't mind if I search your pockets, do you, sir? You won't need any of these anyway. I'm not stealing.
Оля, ты как себе это планируешь эту игру в будущем проходить?
Redistributing your belongings to
С
people
убийствами
who need
мирных или
more
без?
than you. You see, no one has claimed your body, sir. So it would be Such a shame to bury you with your valuables. I will not forget you, sir. And I thank you for your generous donation.
Так на некоторых персонажей смотришь и думаешь, оторвать бы ему голову.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Reed.
Always a pleasure to meet a colleague, sir. Especially when he was supposedly dead.
A colleague? Are you a doctor too?
Not anymore, sir. I used to be Dr. Rakesh Chadana. Now, I'm just Mr. Chadana, pawnbroker and humble guardian of this morgue.
What do you mean, you used to be a doctor? Was your license revoked?
No, sir. It is just that I like to be precise. I run a little pawn shop while taking care of the dead. But I used to be a real doctor.
Are you afraid or uneasy being surrounded by so many corpses?
Why should I? These bodies are empty vessels. Flesh left to decay. Poof. No soul anymore. All gone.
An interesting point of view. And quite an exotic one, too. Most people fear, or at least have a respect, for dead flesh.
Sir, as a medic during the war, I learned to face my death and the death of others. It's the pain we have to tame, not death itself.
How did you get this job?
After I left the army, I worked as an undertaker down by the docks. A dangerous place with many an unpleasant business there. Milton Hooks helped me get a job here.
Have we met before?
I don't think so, sir. Why?
When we first talked, you said you were glad to meet me since I was reported dead.
Funny story, sir. Your sister came here a few nights ago. You were missing, and she was looking for your body. She must be very relieved now.
Do you work here alone?
Yes, very easy work, sir. All I have to do is watch a few bodies. The situation was very different when the main morgue was still open.
Why do you have to watch these bodies?
Because these poor fellows have no names. We keep them in case someone comes looking for the missing. Sadly, very rarely happens.
Why close the hospital's main morgue?
It was for sanitary reasons after the beginning of the epidemic. Cadavers had to be moved to the nearest mass grave.
A pawnbroker? I expect you get all types of people here.
Yes, sir. All kind of people. For I sell all kind of goods.
Who comes here to trade with you? It's very unhygienic, even unsafe. Diseases can spread. For the customers, for the hospital.
I'm very cautious, sir. I've been a doctor, remember? And all my clients are good people. In fact, I think I only know good people.
What kind of goods?
With the quarantine, it's not always easy to buy things. So I trade, I exchange. Some people sell, some others buy. I like to help.
Since you're not afraid of dying, do you believe in life after death, Rakesh?
No. I believe we must do all the good we can while alive. For our time is short, and the obstacles are endless.
Do you think you would enjoy immortality as a concept?
I don't think so. Don't mistake me. I love life, and I'd like to live a long life. But everything has to decay, sir. Even goodwill.
So you're ready to die?
No, I am not. I don't fear death, for I won't see it. What troubles me is the pain my death will inflict to those I know.
You're a wise man, Mr. Chidana.
No, Dr. Reed. I am a foolish man. But I like to think otherwise.
Do you really believe goodwill cannot last?
As I said, sir, everything decays. If I was to never die, goodness, I would be bored or worse. And I like to be helpful, sir.
Quite depressing, wouldn't you say?
Yes, but the good news is, we'll all die before losing our humanity, sir.
How dare you steal from the dead, Rakesh? Is that what your pawnbrokers is really about?
These people are dead, sir. What they possessed could be useful for the living. And I'm sure they would agree if they could speak.
You should show respect for the dead. What about their loved ones who may treasure these items you sell?
The bodies I watch over are the unwanted and undesired, sir. I would never deprive anyone of their family artifacts.
Goodbye, Mr. Chidana.
Можно сказать, наконец-то мы с этим всем разделались. Все-таки чертовски занудно сидеть с этими бесконечными практически диалогами, без которых и по сути не обойтись. Это еще кто? Сейчас хоть каплей разбавится все это. Этой капля здесь, конечно, та еще. Совсем уже забыл об оружии. Нет, так не пойдет. Вообще, учитывая, что оружие меняется по отдельности, могли бы дать возможность ставить оружие во все ячейки с учетом даже двуручного оружия. То это выглядит несколько глуповато. Хотя, может, это только мое мнение.
Balls of Mars, fortifiers. As popular as they are ineffective. But they do contain iron tartrate, and that might prove itself useful.
Зачем я это сделал?
Behavior is similar to the infected William Bishop. Must be the same strain. This sickness moves faster than influenza. This key will surely grant me access to the basement.
Так, тут мы уже были.
I cannot enter.
Чего я тут абсолютно не понимаю. Собственно, я уже забыл, что я тут не... А, ну да. Зачем наставлять столько дверей, если ими даже воспользоваться-то нельзя? Какие-то бесконечные лабиринты, ненужные двери.
These skulls feed from corpses and the husks of animals. They're not afterlife.
Надеюсь, нас никто не заметил. Вот над чем в этой игре явно хорошо так поработали, так это над ее сюжетом, вот этой всей системой диалогов, которые раскрывают те или иные вещи. И, конечно же, над количеством крови, которые после боя такие озера остаются. Да и не только, конечно, после боя.
It's locked.
До сих пор непонятно мне вот эти вот закрытые сундуки. Неизвестно, когда и что найдешь.
Mr. Connor's injuries don't match the report.
Так, на всякий случай повторно откроем.
I'd better look into this. Traces of a pinkish foam at the corner of the lips. Some sort of drug overdose, perhaps? Multiple abrasions and scarring on the arms and legs. Old and distinctive injuries of a sailor or a fisherman. The chest was originally opened to perform the operation, The sutures are clean, but the chest has been reopened. A puncture over the left lung, possibly a chest tube insertion. Not the cleanest work, but I think it was successful. Signs of internal bleeding. So, Dr. Tippett's anesthetics were incorrectly dosed, causing the patient's death. And then, he tried to operate on him again. Tippett has made an egregious error. It's time we talked.
До кого ты пытаешься достучаться? Зря я пытался его глушить. Вообще не люблю, когда враги могут использовать тень. Я стою на том месте. Как-то я слишком сильно расслабился. И понятно, что со мной не то. Я все это время занимаюсь ненужными попросту вещами. Его невозможно оглушить, заразу. Так, где он есть? Стоп, а как я его оглушу, если невозможно оглушить? Опять игра. Чудачество нам выявляет. Я, возможно, я просто что-то упускаю, как всегда. Вообще, все это было крайне лишним.
I'm not sure I can defeat them without becoming stronger. To drink blood is so tempting.
Что-то всегда, когда более-менее привыкаю к системе, начинаю крайне недооценивать. И что, собственно, случаются вот такие вот моменты неприятные. Хорош ты дышать это. Такое ощущение, что меня крайне так обделяют в ресурсах. Кстати, как я отсюда убираться собираюсь в таком состоянии? Дается мне далеко, я не уйду. Однако ж мне еще есть куда сходить. Не смотри на меня так. Опять оружие поменять забыл. Не знаю почему, но мне все это время казалось, что усасывание крови не снимает блокировки. Точнее, не пробивает блокировку восстановления. Все же я крайне невнимательный в этом вопросе. Но в любом случае это много упрощает. Интересно, почему я не замечал этого ранее.
It's locked, all right.
Насколько мне изменяет память, где-то тут должен быть еще и ключ. Между делом так неплохо набрались опыта. И, конечно, в общих чертах это довольно-таки мало.
Good evening, Nurse Brannigan.
Good evening, Doctor.
Why does Dr. Tippett's claim you're the main reason he keeps working, despite his fatigue?
If it wasn't for him, I probably would have left the Pembroke years ago.
Dr. Tippett does not think of you as just a nurse anymore, does he?
If you're suggesting he's not taking my gender into consideration when it comes to medical practice and knowledge, I really hope he doesn't.
Tell me what Dr. Tippett did. I know his mistake caused a patient's death.
If I had not covered up his error, Dr. Tippett would have been fired from this hospital. I could not let that happen.
You can't allow your emotions to dictate your conduct concerning patients, Nurse Brannigan.
Look around you, Dr. Reed. Do you really think we can afford to lose a brilliant practitioner like Dr. Tippett in our situation?
I can't say I approve of what you did. But as a field surgeon, I know that some situations require you to bend the rules.
I'm not proud of what I've done, but to contain the epidemic must be our priority, so we can't afford to lose Dr. Tippett.
Да кто б с этим спорил?
Goodbye, nurse. Call me if you need assistance.
Собственно, теперь бы еще и найти самого доктора. То он имеет привычку сматываться в неизвестном направлении. И, конечно, направление мне известно, но все равно.
Good evening, Dr. Tippett.
Dr. Reed, any good news to share?
Как сказать, хорошее.
Corcoran, I want you to tell me about Mr. Connor. How did he die? What happened?
He was my patient. He died because of my mistake. That's the blunt truth.
What was the nature of the mistake?
It was a twofold error. My diagnosis was wrong, and the administered dosage was too strong.
Who was this patient?
I don't know. Some sick man from the docks, maybe a fisherman. I had no time to talk with him. No one claimed a body.
Why not stop practicing?
Are you mad? I killed that man, I admit it, and it won't happen again. I have saved so many lives since then.
I will cover for you, Dr. Tippett, by keeping what happened to Mr. Connor to myself.
I don't know what to say, actually. I can't exactly force you to become my accomplice.
You didn't force me. This is my decision to make. I believe you're still of use to the hospital, considering the situation.
Then I can make you this promise. As soon as the epidemic is eradicated, I will resign.
What will you do after your resignation? Do you have a plan?
I always fancied visiting Cyprus. Such a beautiful island. I could buy a house there, by the sea. Read poetry, and wait for death.
Goodbye, Dr. Tippett.
Что мне кажется, что я что-то должен был сделать.
Finally, you've returned, Doctor. Did you find anything of value?
Yes, nurse.
You've worked your first miracle, Doctor. Now, this patient here needs immediate treatment.
Duty calls. When the storm has passed, I'll show you how to mix the remedy yourself with the same basic ingredients.
Many thanks, Doctor. When you've finished, you ought to report to Dr. Swansea in his office. He's been looking for you. Seemed pressing.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Goswick. How are you?
I'm okay.
Do you need any help?
I'm afraid I may, sir. I don't mean to be a burden.
You are not a burden, sir. Healing you is my responsibility.
And you have my gratitude for that.
Чего я действительно не понимаю. Зачем убеждать их гипнозом в том, чтобы они выпили лекарство?
My mother just wants the best for me. She won't rest while I'm here. She'd go all the way to hell and back to help me.
Pembroke Hospital may look unorthodox, but rest assured, you're in good hands here.
It's not me you have to convince, Dr. Reed. It's my mother.
Is your mother bothering you? As your doctor, I can ask her to leave you alone if you would prefer.
That's tempting, Doctor. But you have no idea what my mother is capable of. She would tie herself to my bed if you asked her to leave.
I have to go now, sir. But don't hesitate to contact me if you need any help.
Good evening, sir. Doctor.
Прямо ж навязывают. Но убивать мы определенно будем только тех, кто мне не нравится. И некоторых людей я уже определил.
Please, Jonathan, come in. Fascinating, is it not? In the last decade, so many mysteries have been brought to light with our microscopes. The human body, biology's penultimate frontier. The more we explore its boundaries, the less we're able to trace a clear line between life and death. You, my friend, have a foot in both countries. The view must be vertiginous.
It's at least as vertiginous as chatting about vampires with you, I would say.
This must be all so new to you. This area of town, the hospital, a brand new life. How stimulating it must be.
I wish I could share your enthusiasm, Dr. Swansea. But my condition defies scientific categorization. Undead? Unalive? Immortality defies logic.
I cannot express my thrill at this serendipitous turn of events. The world's most eminent specialist in blood transfusions, a vampire. One might say a gift from heaven.
It may seem strange, but your words have brought me some comfort here.
Forgive me. I've been an admirer of your work for a long time, and now you are so much more than a brilliant physician. And please, call me Edgar.
There is no need to apologize, Edgar. You offered me sanctuary when I had none.
Very well. I have a task for you, Jonathan. Something that will require all your newfound skills.
Please, go on.
The Pembroke only survives through the generosity of our benefactors. Unfortunately, our main donor has found herself in a bit of a bind. Now, if you could help her out...
A spokesman or politician is what you need. That's not my calling. And until I come to understand what has happened to me, I require discretion.
Discretion is in order, Jonathan. Lady Ashbury has recently received rather indelicate correspondence that, if revealed, would jeopardize her position.
And you would like me to eradicate this threat?
By the stole, of course not. I would just like you to pay her a visit. Her ladyship is certainly near the tents outside, tending the sick. You can't miss her. Look for someone impossibly delicate.
Accepted. I'll see what kind of trouble Lady Ashbury is in.
Пожалуй, вот это противостояние двух врачей на тему одного больного больше всего ставит в тупик. С одной стороны, не хочется, чтобы в результате всего этого пострадал больной, а с другой не представляешь, как даже будет лучше. Да и, собственно, в последнее время я начинаю сомневаться в том, что отсюда вообще хоть кого-нибудь выпишут.
The flu took my dear wife, Emily. I take comfort knowing we'll soon be together again.
Mr. Rainfield, that's no way to talk. You're in good hands here, and we'll be up again soon enough. Now do me a kindness and get some sleep. I'll be back round later.
Your words are kind, the blessings of an angel. You're the sweet, sweet Lady of Mercy.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. It's a pleasure to see you again. You seem surprised. Dr. Swansea has brought me up to speed concerning your recent appointment to Pembroke Hospital.
You're a the lady who saved me that night, before vanishing into thin air. I remember you from the pub with Dr. Swansea.
Indeed. Allow me to introduce myself formally this time. My name is Lady Ashbury. I remember you well, in spite of the brevity of our encounter.
Apologies. You've taken me by surprise. I'm very happy to see you.
The pleasure is mine, Doctor.
I hope you're more disposed to answer my questions now.
You must have countless questions, but our rather urgent matter first. Swansea has explained. My cover, if you prefer, has been compromised.
Have any of the patients given you trouble?
These poor souls have so little left to live for. I do my best to ease their pain.
The world would be a better place if it were cared for by women like you.
You make me blush. I am simply a necessary evil.
Pardon my boldness, your ladyship, but I have questions concerning this condition we share.
As a newborn, your hunger for answers is rivaled only by your thirst for blood. But the questions need wait.
I'm a scientist. My trade is in the deciphering of mysteries, and I need information to feed my mind.
I will gladly answer every question you have, but first, prove yourself capable of resolving my predicament without eating the culprit.
Dr. Swansea has commissioned me to be your agent in this matter. You could start by explaining what's amiss.
These past insufferable weeks, I've been the victim of extortion. I've made a first payment, but the blackmailer grows greedy. I must refuse his most recent demands.
What are your expectations? Please be precise.
As the newly appointed surgeon of this hospital, you are in an excellent position to ask innocent questions and deftly learn the identity of my blackmailer.
Who would be so foolish as to threaten you? A kindred spirit.
Even if it were the case, and I highly doubt it, a vampire would have asked for something more valuable than money. My suspicions lean toward a patient or their family.
If we're dealing with an ordinary criminal, surely you've the means to deal with it yourself, if I may.
As immortal tradition doth dictate, all fangs and hypnotic eyes ablaze, the blood would run like a river. That's what I hope to avoid. Violence has a tendency to spiral out of control.
Please continue. Every detail is essential. I'm your man.
My embarrassment in this matter is eclipsed only by my shame at having put the hospital at risk. The threat from our anonymous scoundrel is clear. A list of dates. My visits coinciding with the dates of suspicious patient deaths due to massive blood loss.
Is it true?
Now aren't you the blunt one?
We both are afflicted with a thirst for blood, Lady Ashbury. That is our nature. By vocation, we also have reason to visit the hospital. Logic dictates.
In all honesty, I'm not simply a patron to the hospital. My visits serve a dual purpose. Dr. Swansea has been treating my condition with a revolutionary technique of blood transfusion. It seems you are a specialist in the domain.
I'll take care of it. Do you know where I should start?
If that was the case, I'd settle the matter myself. You could talk to our local gossip, Harriet Jones. Not a pin drops here without her hearing about it.
I'll meet that woman now.
My life, as others know, is in your hands, Dr. Reed. I'm sure of your discretion, but I do fear your powers of persuasion will be put to the test. When this is resolved, I'll be your obligé. I'll answer all questions in regards of your condition.
Я бы сказал, не густо для благодарности.
Damn. This pain. It's here again.
These nurses, bred with no respect. What? What is this? Who are you? Get out of my room.
There's no need for alarm, madam. I'm Dr. Reed, the new surgeon.
Preposterous. Dr. Reed, you say? I don't want some bumbling intern. Where's Dr. Swansea?
Please, calm down, madam. I assure you that I am highly qualified. I'm just back from war duty.
How brave. Threatening an old defenseless woman. You know how long I've been a patient here? You've picked the wrong fight. I'm Harriet Jones.
Harriet Jones? Indeed. I've been meaning to have a chat with you. You know what goes on here better than any other patient, I gather.
Oh, better than any patient, nurse or doctor. I've seen so many vile undertakings.
I heard there have been some despicable goings-on. Was there a case of blackmail?
Blackmail? Wait. You're investigating something. This isn't a social call. One of those incompetent cunts slit a poor sod's vein.
If I didn't know better, Miss Jones, I'd be inclined to say you enjoy this type of idle gossip.
Действительно, как из больницы меня выкинули.
It's just the way it is here.
Каким-то отношением.
Bitches would let you freeze to death before getting you a blanket.
Ну или не вкололи чего лишнего.
You seem to know more about the goings-on here than anyone else. Beware, Miss Jones, in case suspicion should fall on you.
That's it. Blame the old and infirm. I see those little bitches' greedy little eyes. Just waiting for me to pop off they are.
I assure you, madam, this is not an investigation into a possible medical error.
Debauchery, then? Nurses Crane, Hawkins, Brannigans, whores, all of them. They can't keep their legs shut. I've seen them scratching slutty sores.
Really? Well, if you have irrefutable proof, I'll not have the staff
Когда только она успевает разглядывать подробности.
This is your business, Doctor, not mine. But I swear one of the nurses is cavorting with some man on hospital hours.
Thank you for your time, Miss Jones. You've given me something to go on. See you on the next round.
Вообще бы не хотелось связываться с ней лишний раз.
The patients and staff might know something. I'll start my investigation with them. Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
Pepper, are you sure you want to leave this hospital?
To become a nurse was a little girl's dream. But in the end, I don't feel that useful. I want more. I want to make things change.
You should be proud of what you've achieved. This hospital represents hope for many people in need of help.
Maybe you're right. But at the moment, I feel like we're just a cemetery waiting room.
What steps are you prepared to take to feel more useful?
I don't know yet. My sister believes that the real fight is in the streets nowadays. Maybe she's right. Maybe this is what I must do.
If you feel that saving lives is not useful enough, perhaps it means that you've lost faith.
On the contrary, my faith has never been stronger. Maybe we are all just too proud to face up to the fact that science cannot compete with God.
And what about Milton Hooks? Does he share your point of view?
For Milton, any change means more comfort and more peace. I disagree.
What can you tell me about the strange man visiting one of the nurses during her shift?
Let me guess. You spoke with that old shrew, Harriet Jones. Do not pay attention to her, Doctor. She's full of fanciful tales.
She could have been telling the truth about the mysterious man.
That old witch will end up in hell soon enough. Who cares if a nurse finds some happiness where she can?
No matter how you feel about her, Miss Jones deserves our help.
Who says I don't care for her? Hate is what keeps that old crone alive.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins. Good evening, Nurse Brannigan.
Good evening, Doctor.
Do you know if any of the hospital staff have criminal backgrounds?
The people who work here all come from very different backgrounds, Doctor. Just like the patients.
Have you seen a strange man visiting any of the nurses here?
I've never heard of such a thing, Doctor.
Да чего же здесь все-таки все скрытные?
Goodbye, nurse. Call me if you need assistance.
You're sure you don't come back with me?
Nah, I have to see someone at the hospital.
Be careful. You look so bad they may keep you as a patient.
Fuck 'em. I don't like hospitals.
Что-то мне
Or
сейчас
doctors.
подсказывает, что я забыл об одной вещи.
Well then,
А
when you
конкретно
go
о
back
том,
to
чтобы
Whitechapel,
передохнуть и
you
поднять
may
свой
find
левел.
this useful.
What is it?
A pass for a free medical exam by the best nurse available. Just read it.
То
I don't
сдается
read
мне,
well, but thank you, I guess.
ждут меня неплохие пинки. Сюда мы явно торопимся. Временами начинает казаться, что со всем этим получаемым опытом с чего бы вообще убивать простых людей. Интересно, кто успел высадить уже эту дверь. Это нам определенно не нужно. Черт. И не хватает все пары капель. Не знаю уж, насколько рационально я распределяю эти навыки. Но в любом случае с таким подходом играть мне ничуть не сложно. Не менее интересный, конечно, вопрос, как нашего персонажа не начинают подозревать в чем-то, учитывая его внешность.
Please, sir. I need help bad.
What's going on?
I'm Blight, sir. Newton Blight. I've lost my mate. Can't find him anywhere.
I'm Dr. Jonathan
Например,
Reed
так
from
оно и
the
есть.
Pembroke Hospital. Please, calm down and give me more details.
Oswald and myself were both infantry, sir. We were en route for the hospital, but we had a disagreement. And Oswald ran off towards the canal.
How long have you been searching for him?
I can't go there. Too many rats by the
Не знаю
water.
почему, но у меня такое ощущение, что я все время о чем-то
Can't
забываю.
stand them since the war, sir. Can't stand them at all.
Похоже, о
Don't be
чем-то
ashamed,
важном.
Mr. Blight. Many soldiers who survived the trenches suffer from musophobia. I'll see what I can do for your friend. What can you tell me about yourself?
I'm Oswald's best friend. We served in the same regiment, sir. We've taken care of each other since we came back from the front.
What can you tell me about your friend?
His name is Oswald Thatcher. We survived the war together. Oswald is nervous and quite fragile since we came back from the war.
This is a dangerous part of town. What are you doing here?
We were looking for the Pembroke Hospital. We both need help. Treatment, I mean. To get some sleep. Just need to feel better, sir.
Where was your friend the last time you saw him?
He went down by the canal. He didn't want to go to the hospital. I think he went to the sewers on purpose. So I couldn't go after him.
I have all the information I need for now. If I find anything out about your friend, I'll let you know as soon as I can.
Thank you, Dr. Reed.
Временами, глядя на эти диалоги, начинаешь задумываться, что же за психопаты нас окружают. Там определенно кого-то едят, но мы, как всегда, не торопимся. Собственно, нас это даже и не волнует.
This man has been savagely attacked and dragged to the floor.
Будет хоть какое-то развлечение. Учитывая то, куда мы идем. То от всех этих бесконечных диалогов начинаю засыпать даже я. Для меня всегда остается непонятным, как они выживают с нулем хп. Хотя, может, этот ноль виден только для меня.
What sort of creature is this?
Вообще, насколько я обращаю внимание, в боях игра почему-то отдает преимущество противнику, а не персонажу.
Not a lot to check, but I should anyway. Some voucher for a free checkup in Whitechapel. What is Nurse Crane up to? I really must find her.
Быстро же его сожрали. И, конечно, и шли мы сюда.
Are you injured, sir?
Help me get out of here. I need to get out.
I'm Dr. Reed, and I'd be glad to help you, but you must calm down first. Please, take a deep breath and tell me your name.
Okay. I'm Oswald Thatcher. Please, I need to get out.
Mr. Thatcher, your friend Newton sent me to help you. Do you remember him?
Yes, I do.
Good. Now
такое
leave
время.
this place and enjoy the cool night air. It's quite invigorating. I'm sure you'll feel better if you do.
Вообще с этими гаражами временами проблем не берешься. С одной стороны и спасти надо, но с другой бывает такое, что и лезть не хочется. Пожалуй, предварительно было бы неплохо заняться несколько посторонними делами. Вроде вот этих. Хотя на моей памяти легко нам не будет. Сюда я определенно не хочу. Все эти ребята крайне недружелюбны. Заодно мне бы хотелось знать, как они определяют вампира по первому взгляду. Тут я бы не сказал, что тут на лбу прям аж написано. То, что ты так кричишь. А что, и двери открывать не умеете? Ну, теперь и я уже не умею. Об этом разработчик явно не подумал. Как насчет этого? Что мне подсказывает, что они меня как раз через дверь могут атаковать спокойно. А, подождем, пока они свалят. Но вообще в игре довольно-таки много таких вот мелких косяков, которые несколько убивают впечатление об игре. Сейчас 5 оружием снял. Это выглядело весьма зрелищно. Что-то мне подсказывает, что рановато я сюда свалился. Скажу по секрету, это первый кандидат из тех, кого бы я явно хотел прибить в этой игре.
What are you doing here? This place is not safe.
Yeah, it's a cesspool, but it's mine. I came to collect some overdue rent, but those who still live here have gone completely bonkers.
You're very lucky to
Что
be
за по странному стечению обстоятельств все находятся в одном районе.
And now with this bloody fever, they're just animals.
You can find safety of sorts in Whitechapel. If you're quick
Этот район
and
почему-то
cautious, you'll be able to avoid the
летит под откос в первую очередь. Хотя, может, на этот раз будет лучше. Интересно, ничего я не забыл на третьем этаже. Ты оттуда так спешно эвакуировался. И вот, собственно, первая из причин избавиться от того товарища. Но в любом случае мы подождем момент, когда он станет куда аппетитней. Надеюсь, ребятки за забором уже более-менее так подуспокоились и дадут мне спокойно пройти. По идее, пора бы уже с ними заканчивать. И сразу же уже и заканчивать с этой серией. И, конечно, нас ждет еще один такой небольшой квест. Глазастый-то. Вообще крайне раздражает, так сказать, ребята все время тыкают меня факелами. Хотя это пустяк по сравнению с тем, что у некоторых противников есть автоматические револьверы. Что просто зашкаливают своей нелепостью, когда они начинают с них лупить очередями, патронов идет по 10 из какого-то пулемета. Я, конечно, понимаю, что здесь есть такое улучшение, как скорострельность, но не до такой же степени. Чтобы попросту уничтожать всю механическую систему этого револьвера. Когда он в таком состоянии сыграть, то умудряется. Красное доказательство того, что здесь кто-то крайне сильно доболтался. Ничего бы делать и не стоило. В любом случае, проблемы в какой-то степени избежали. Почему мне казалось, что больничка в другой стороне? Пожалуй, придется сделать не слабо такой крюк. Особенно учитывая местную охрану. Конечно, тут будет почаще использовать местами бег, но на мой взгляд он так убого здесь выглядит, что лишний раз им пользоваться как-то не хочется. Кстати, не забьет парень с автоматическим револьвером. Было бы неплохо хотя бы раз угадать здесь направление правильно. То меня все время подмывает побежать в противоположную сторону. Какие же они нервные. Также довольно странно, как они умудряются попадать по герою, когда он использует вампирское уклонение. По идее, у них даже реакции такой быть не должно. Однако же в бою эти себя довольно часто демонстрируют как настоящие, вампиры, а не просто охотники на них. Черт. Никакой моего левела может и не хватить. Черт, шел. Как же меня этот приоритет раздражает. Вот почему в первую очередь должен атаковать противник, а не я. Меня тут в принципе ни во что не ставят. Тут я определенно проиграю. Однако же сделать с ним как-то надо. Не хотелось бы сюда бегать лишний раз. Довольно проблематично с ним будет разбираться без крови. Я думаю, товарищ нам в этом поможет. А после всего то, что поскорее разделаться. Я даже уйти не смогу. Собственно, то для чего и нужно дальнобойное оружие. К сожалению, больше оно как-то себя нигде не проявляет.
Opium is one of the main ingredients of Strickland. Medication. Never a good move.
И, к сожалению, эти убийцы возродились. Что создать вместе проблемы с положением. Хорош меня тыкать, чем попало. Да что ж ты?
Pembroke is so lucky to have Dr. Reed, you know. I met him in New York.
If only there were more of us. Less resignation.
Мне показалось, табуретка появилась из ниоткуда.
Good evening, Dr. Strickland.
And good evening to you, Dr. Reed. Can I be of any help?
I located the shop, but it was vandalized, and the owner is missing. All I found was your order.
I was afraid of such bad news. People are so desperate they're ready to burgle a shop for drugs.
That's quite a list you ordered.
Если бы люди.
Sodium hypochlorite. It can't be just headaches you're trying to cure.
It's dreadful influenza, of course. I already ran some tests on hopeless cases. Without success, I must admit.
Do you realize you could create a lethal poison without the correct dosage? Then there are the legal ramifications.
Is this not true of any medical substance, Dr. Reed? However, if you would agree to improve it, I'd be glad to accept your help.
As long as you promise to be scrupulous with your experiments, I may try to gather these substances, and even help improve upon the mixture.
That's all I'm asking for, Dr. Reed. That's all I'm asking.
I want to know about these secret tests you run, and if they can save people from this epidemic. Speak to me now, Thoreau.
I know I may sound presumptuous, but I'm just following your steps, Dr. Reed. I'm casting away the shadows of ignorance by daring to face them.
Self-confidence is essential in our line of work, my young colleague, but only if tempered with the correct amount of cynicism.
But you never doubt yourself, Dr. Reed. I've read all your articles and books. You performed the most daring research during the war.
Don't you think we have enough work already? Perhaps now is not the best time to be chasing shadows.
Chasing shadows, really? It's funny those words coming from the only doctor here who has spent more time outside this hospital than in.
Tell me, Thoreau, what's the real cause of your dislike for Dr. Ackroyd?
He refuses to admit that your blood transfusion technique is the only way to save Mr. Fiddick. I'm convinced we must use it.
What Dr. Ackroyd really said is that you lack the skill to perform this operation efficiently. Is there anything you have to say about this?
It's a false conceit. Dr. Ackroyd secretly envies your reputation. His jealousy blinds him. I'm not the real target here.
Goodbye, Dr. Strickland. I can't let Strickland put his patients at risk with opium. Perhaps an adjusted formula will deliver more of a placebo effect. Good evening, Miss Howcroft. How are you tonight?
I need blood, Doctor. Warm, rich, vibrant blood.
I have made inquiries about the men who were tracking you, Miss Howcroft.
I did not expect a mortal to have this sort of courage. Speak, Doctor. Why are they hunting me down?
It was a misunderstanding. These hunters were in fact looking for a very different creature, but they mistakenly put their sights on you.
I knew it. I have become undone. Those hunters have discovered me, but they don't know what I'm capable of.
If you'll accept some advice from a petty mortal, I think you should assume a low profile and just quietly disappear into the shadows.
You are right. And you have served me well, mortal. Take this as a reward for your time. Perhaps I will allow you to drink deep of my blood. One day.
Thank you. I'll keep that proposition in mind. Tell me, Thelma, what do you really know about vampires?
I saw one and he saw me. I watched him hunt and kill. I saw his terrible wounds heal as his victim died. And then I knew I was saved.
You mean you actually saw a vampire? Here in London?
Yes, and it has been the answer to my pain. I must drink and kill to regenerate my decaying body. I am a vampire too.
No, you are deluded. You think you crave blood, but you have no physical need for it. You have no idea what that is like.
But what am I feeling? It cannot only be in my head. I know my flesh is rotting. I feel it. It disgusts me.
Tell me, Thelma, why do you feel so attached to Mr. Elwood? Why him?
I'm not sure, Doctor. I think we have a bond of some sort. We've both suffered so much. He's the only mortal I find interesting.
Do you plan to make him a vampire too?
Of course not. How could I inflict my curse on anybody else? I'm not that cruel, Doctor.
Would you say you and Mr. Elwood are romantically involved?
No. No, Thomas is a delicate soul. Even though he disguises it. But I am not the woman he needs. No, for I am a vampire, Doctor.
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark, to your nocturnal activities.
Теперь осталось решить главную из проблем. А именно, что сделать с этим лекарством, которое мы должны изготовить.
Strickland's project could be dangerous. I have a mind to report him to Dr. Ackroyd.
Пожалуй, так мы и поступим. В любом случае, хотелось бы знать, как повлияет на развитие то, что об эксперименте узнает наш консервативный коллега.
I'm quite busy right now, Dr. Reed.
Do you think Dr. Strickland has any chance of curing the Spanish flu by himself?
His wish to cure the sick is not driven by pride, but by an idealistic view about our mission here. Honestly, I don't know which is worse.
You consider him a good practitioner, yet you will not report his methods.
Strickland may be a rival, but I will not use dirty tricks or regulations to prove him wrong. We are doctors, not politicians.
Tell me, Waverly, what do you think of Dr. Strickland's enthusiasm for his experimental research?
Strickland is playing with his patients' lives for pride and glory. Now that, sir, is unethical.
Are you thinking about something in particular?
Harvey Fiddick needs delicate surgery. I believe we should stick to the usual procedure, but my young colleague obviously disagrees.
Why do you wish to lead this surgery?
I strongly believe that Mr. Fiddick should not be butchered to test an unproven
Честь
procedure.
и слава, представляю, как то, что хочет сделать Торо, может помочь человеку с поврежденной рукой. Хотя, может, он занимается совершенно посторонними делами. Но все же этот спор по большей части идет вокруг конкретного человека.
Other people may say that's too conservative a point of view.
Conservative? And what are you going to say to Mr. Fiddick if he loses his arm because of the operation? Because that's what's going to happen if the surgery is a failure.
Вообще, мне кажется, что за то время, которое они спорят, он уже давно должен был лишиться руки из-за гангрены.
I guess you could call it that. But I will never be childish enough to let my personal feelings affect my judgment.
I know that you're a busy man, but I could use your help and advice.
The great Dr. Reed honors me with a request. What is it exactly?
Dr. Strickland devised an experimental drug for the Spanish flu that he asked me to manufacture.
You know what I think of fringe medical experimentation?
That's exactly why I want you to keep the result, Doctor. I made sure it won't harm anyone, but I'd like you to take care of it.
I see. Put it in my cabinet. I'll give you the key. I'll make sure no one uses this medication by mistake.
I'll do that. Thank you for your help, Dr. Ackroyd.
Thank you for your trust on the matter, Dr. Reed.
Thank you for your
time. Да, я бы сказал, я вам обоим не доверяю.
Come now, we can handle this.
Один зазнавшийся и непризнанный, другой повернутый на экспериментах. Вообще, так посмотреть, в этой больнице нет вообще ни одного нормального врача. Что стоит заметить, что в случае с Тора, что в случае с... Чтобы запомнить его имя, но неважно. С данным врачом лекарство ставится... О, доктор Трой. Лекарство ставится в один и тот же шкафчик. Интересно даже, каким образом он не сможет до него добраться. Учитывая, что у них все складывается в один шкафчик, и может воспользоваться даже обычная медсестра. А вот и новый кол. Опять же, нам совсем чуть-чуть не хватит на новый когти. Хотя нет, не на когти, а на что-то другое. Я еще забываю, на что же я хотел все это потратить. В данном случае нам не хватает на данный навык. А он мне уж очень нравится. Пожалуй, прибережем этот опыт на потом. А на этом мы закончим данную серию. Всем спасибо за просмотр. Пока.